I know we'll have a few people that may come in as we progress through the town hall, but I did want to get started given that there was a lot of information and agenda items that were taken to the board as part of new business. Just as a quick update, I did want to just note some regular housekeeping rules with respect to any Q&A or questions and answers for that matter. They will be facilitated through our institutional effectiveness team. So once again, feel free to ask any questions as we progress through the town hall, and then I'll definitely do my best to read out the questions, but also provide a response with respect to any inquiries that you may have pertaining to this month's board meeting, which just took place yesterday. So one of the things or some of the things that I wanted to share were with respect to this month's board meeting were the presidential updates. We've been doing a lot of work within our community. I'm very proud of the college and our faculty and our staff and you within your respective leadership roles and how we've been able to engage our communities. For example, the event that took place on campus, we had a turkey giveaway last month in November. And through that work, we were able to provide 130 turkeys to families from the area for Thanksgiving, so they could celebrate that specific date. So I'm very thankful of everyone, of all of the team contributing in some way, whether it was donating to that initiative or rolling up, your sleeves and undertaking that work. And it was a pretty amazing sight to see, as I shared with the trustees yesterday. Actually being at the event and seeing the cars actually wrap around from the here on campus at the Beeville campus all the way up to the stoplight by the main street. So as we engage our communities more moving forward, I would highly encourage you to participate in those events and just let us know how, if you'd like to support us in that work as well, it is appreciated. So the other major initiative that we shared with the trustees and our board was the public unveiling or launch of the Coastal Bend Promise program. We actually publicly launched that at this month's gala, which took place this past Saturday. It was very well attended. I want to thank Paul and the foundation board and the gala steering committee for undertaking that work and organizing that event. It was a really well-structured event. We got a lot of good feedback. I will say that, in my opinion, it was likely the best gala that we've had to date. And we're definitely looking at ways to move that initiative forward as we once again engage with our communities here within the Coastal Bend region. So very proud of that team and that work and you all for supporting those initiatives as we move forward. So we actually received $5,000 in pledge funds as part of the gala programming. So once again, I think these events are already showing their positive return as we begin to focus on initiatives that impact our students in a positive way. So in addition to that, which is an extension of the Promise program, last month at the November board meeting for the South Texas College Board of Trustees, I believe that meeting took place on the 22nd. During Thanksgiving break, I was able to present to the Coastal Bend College Board on the Cougar to Jaguars Rural Scholars Initiative. And what that is, it's basically, which has been approved by the South Texas College Board as part of that meeting. It is an initiative, an interagency agreement between Coastal Bend College and South Texas College, and they've agreed to give CBC students, associate degree graduates, 15 free seats within their bachelor's degree online programs at South Texas College. So what that really translates into is our students having access to a tuition-free bachelor's degree from STC. And when you look at it from a dollar amount, as I shared with the Board of Trustees yesterday, those two cohorts of students totals, 30 within the 2-year framework that we signed the initial agreement for. The aggregate of the money that they'll be saving is about $300,000 as part of this agreement. So it is actually the first Promise to Promise initiative within the nation, which is something that we weren't accounting for. Once again, we undertook this initiative and with the student in mind. We were just able to benefit from that after we did some research about these types of partnerships. That, in fact, it is the first Promise to Promise program within the nation between two-year college institutions. So we're very proud of that work. We're already looking at producing some publications and conference presentations as part of this initiative as well, once again, to gain some exposure for the college on the very innovative work that is taking place at Coastal Bend College through your support and your leadership. So that does allow kind of segue into one of the other items that we reviewed as part of the board meeting and our other partnerships with other institutions throughout the state. I was able to attend the SAC-COC conference about, I want to say, the week before last. And we were able to connect with our peers from Laredo College, Dr. Ramirez, who serves as the president there. Her and I had a really interesting and extensive conversation on the work that we're doing with South Texas College. And really, her approach was, we want to partner with you all as well. Send me the same agreement. We'll connect with you. We have an online bachelor's degree, and we'd be more than happy to assist you all in expanding these opportunities for your rural students within the region. So we've sent that document over to her, and we expect that her administration will review it quickly and will likely gain an additional cohort of students that will be able to pursue a tuition-free bachelor's degree at Laredo College as part of this work that's taking place. So I think, once again, it's very innovative work that has taken place, and that initial partnership with South Texas College is really opening that door for us with other peers throughout the state, and giving us the ability to expand access to students at Coastal Bend within the 4-year setting. So definitely one of the first initiatives to come in this sense, but definitely not the last as we begin expanding on these types of agreements. So I want to thank you once again, and the academic instructional teams for assisting and putting that work together and reviewing the interlocal agreement and the nuances, and our legal counsel. There's a lot of work that goes into these agreements before we can present them to the board, but it really does take a team effort in order for us to be able to execute so efficiently. So, I wanted to thank you all for that. So I will get into the new business as far as this month's board meeting. I think there's a lot of items that you all should be aware of. We did actually get approval of the fiscal year 2025 annual financial statement audit. So our audit was submitted timely to the Board of Trustees. We are on track for this year to make sure that we send information to the coordinating board as part of our yearly compliance reporting to them, as part of all institutions' yearly compliance reporting. So we're definitely on track. There was 2 minor, non-substantive improvement recommendations that were made. We are very happy and very proud of our finance team and the work that they have been doing with respect to this audit. And I also want to extend that. Let me get up really quick. I didn't want to wave on camera again, like the last time, but we're proud of our finance and audit team and you all as college leadership in also providing the information that is necessary to complete the audit in a timely manner. I know there's a lot of work and dialogue and back and forth that takes place in order for us to be able to execute this yearly process effectively. And our board was very happy in us bringing the financial audit for this year to them in a timely manner. And the fact that we didn't have any major findings, which once again goes to or speaks on the work that you all are doing and really focusing on a compliance perspective within our respective units. I think that's one of the things that we've really been looking at as an institution, and we need to make sure that that's at the forefront of our decision-making processes, just to make sure that we are in a position where we're not having to deal with compliance issues, and we can really focus on the creative, and most importantly, we can focus on working with our students to create initiatives or undertake initiatives that are going to benefit them in the long term. So once again, if you all get an opportunity to speak to anyone within the finance and business office, please congratulate them for that work. It is very tedious and it is very important work. And sometimes it goes unnoticed just because we may not interact with them day to day in those processes. So another item that was discussed is the approval and award of contract for emergency potable water response and infrastructure support at the college. As I've shared with a lot of the administrative leadership team, we've been working very closely with the city of Beeville and also B County leadership and specifically JC and our facilities leadership team to have a response plan in place in the event that we do have to activate our emergency management plan. The notice issued on the emergency water situation within the city. So I will share that where we're at currently in the plan as a college, we feel very strongly that we are well prepared to pivot if needed and having to enact our emergency management plan. But the discussion that we had with the Board of Trustees yesterday was just giving them a general overview of some of the work that has been taking place. So I do have a document here that I'll reference. Basically, as part of our central plant potable water piping diagram, we have had some digging that has been taking place by our central plant. And the plan is basically we will have a valve system where we would be able to connect, if needed, in the event that we needed to enact our emergency management plan, a potable water source specifically or directly into our central plant. And that work is actually taking place currently, and we expect that it'll be completed within the next 2 weeks. The other items that we've been looking at, obviously, is the well that we have specifically within the Joe Hunter Field. That well is currently out of commission. We did speak to, or specifically JC has been meeting with our engineers to determine, if it's salvageable. And the recommendation that we got is that it was best if we just actually dug a well or a new well adjacent to that location. So part of the recommendations that we took to the board was us beginning to purchase a lot of the equipment that would be necessary in undertaking that work. And lastly, we're also looking at basically adding an additional potable water storage tank to the Benton Hall dormitory location adjacent to that area, where we would have an active water source specifically for our dorms, once again, in the event that we needed to activate our emergency management plan. So this obviously is a large investment on behalf of the college. So I think we should give credit to our Board of Trustees for understanding the need and really looking at this as a long-term planning initiative. Once again, we've been working very closely with the city of Beeville, Beeville ISD, and local leadership, and everyone's really taking initiative to make sure that within our respective areas and organizations that we're doing our best to have that contingency plan in place. The end goal is that we don't have to activate those emergency management plans, but we, as a college, and I would speak for our other local leaders as ISD and as a city, we want to make sure that we're well positioned as institutions to activate those emergency management plans for our constituents, whether it's students, community members throughout the area, to where they're not impacted if we have to engage in this work moving forward. So one of the questions that has come up, and I don't want to speak on behalf of the city. Obviously, I'm speaking on behalf of just the information that I have for you all as the president of Coastal Bend College, and something that I did share with the Board of Trustees as well yesterday, because the question was prompted, have we gotten any additional information from the city on, where we're at with respect to the water shortage emergency? I was in attendance during an emergency management planning meeting that took place last Tuesday. And the city, what I can share is the city is currently in the process of developing a timeline that they will share with all of the constituents. And as soon as we have that information readily available from the city, as we've done with other communications, we will share that with you all so you can be informed as well. But I would encourage you to visit the City of Beeville website as the primary reference point. But once we get that information, as mentioned, we'll make sure to distribute it so you have access to that information as we receive it as well. So the other item on new business that we discussed during last night's board meeting is an amendment to the 25-26 academic calendar. It was a minor adjustment, in my opinion. We did include a college-wide professional development day for the spring semester, which previously had not been designated officially on the academic calendar. This year, that college-wide professional development day will take place on Friday, February 13th. And moving forward, it will likely take place around that same time period. I will share, I'm well aware that we have a 4.5-day work week pilot that will be launched in the spring. This professional development day being organized on a Friday will not impact that. The plan is that we would have a half-day professional development day where departments and units would be able to convene and provide some type of professional development training respective to their unit or respective to some of the objectives and goals that we have set for the college for the respective academic year. I will share that this year, likely our professional development will hyper focus on SAC-COC assessment processes and standards. It's one of the things that in reviewing some of the information that we were provided at SAC-COC and at conference, we want to make sure that we're operating as a premier institution with respect to every single SAC-COC standard. So I think it comes at a good opportunity for us to revisit our training as an institution on what those standards mean for each particular unit. So I'm particularly excited about that, but I did want to share and highlight that that is the major substantial change or amendment that took place as part of the 25-26 academic calendar adjustment for this year. So the other item in new business, and I'm not sure if any of you have the agenda, it's something that is available online, and we'd be more than happy to share with you all as well, so you all can have access to it. But it's the approval of the College District's 26-27 academic calendar. So the academic calendar review, our academic calendar steering committee and Dean Secord and that group, I want to thank you all for the substantial amount of work that you all have done in restructuring our academic calendar. I think last night's meeting was telling, and one of the key points that Dean Secord shared is, I believe our previous academic calendar document spanned a total of 17 pages. And that committee was able to restructure that document to a 7-page document. And some of the changes that you will see is the final exam schedule is no longer basically included as part of the board approved academic calendar. Now there is a final exam timeline, right, or period that is listed on the academic calendar, but it doesn't have it listed by date. So that was one of the adjustments that was made, and I think it'll really benefit our faculty. We have already gotten a lot of good feedback because this really allows faculty some discretion on the management of that final exam or that final exam schedule for that particular semester. And it also allowed us to once again reduce the number of documents that our students are having to reference that really, to some extent, are not pertinent to them as they progress through the semester. The other item, which I thought was a very creative way to minimize the amount of information or information overload that students receive as part of the academic calendar, was the mini-mester basically schedule was compressed. And I believe they got it down from a few pages to a table listed on the academic calendar. So once again, some very great work that the committee did in making sure that our students had access to pertinent and concise information as part of the academic calendar. The other two major changes, in my opinion, to this calendar is once again the inclusion of a spring college-wide professional development day, and then also the inclusion of fall convocation as part of the dates that are listed on the academic calendar. Previously, the fall convocation, I know, is something that we would facilitate from year to year, but it somewhat became kind of like a running target that we would plan and manage around, as opposed to having it specifically listed. So we want to give both faculty, staff, all employees, administration, and our board a really clear vision of the events that are taking place and when to expect those campus-wide events. And that way, we know, a year out the specific dates, and we can all plan accordingly with respect to that plan, those events that are going to be taking place. So once again, Dean Secord and the Academic Calendar Planning Committee, I want to thank you for that excellent work that you all did in revisiting this document. And I'm sure we'll refine it a little bit more moving forward, but this was definitely a major overhaul and improvement that this committee executed in such a short amount of time. The next items that I will share is just some awards that were given for some deferred maintenance projects on campus. So one of them being the Howdy and Latcham building HVAC upgrades. So JC and that team and the facilities and maintenance team is working very diligently to make sure that our learning spaces and our workspaces are comfortable with respect to the HVAC improvements and making sure that those units are operating effectively and consistently. So they'll begin that work here pretty soon in the spring semester. I don't have the specific dates, but I'll get with JC so we can provide everyone with a timeline. We will make sure that we're not disrupting operations with respect to student learning and classrooms. So we have had to plan that out months in advance in order for that to not have any type of detrimental impact to operations and students. So we shared that information with the board yesterday, but once again, we'll get everyone just a general timeline of when those updates will be taking place so you all are aware, and we'll communicate that with you all leading into those projects as well. So I want to thank JC and that team for this work. There's a lot of work that goes into these deferred maintenance projects, reviewing RFPs, making sure that we're bidding everything out appropriately and that we're getting it approved and reviewed by our engineers and ultimately our board. So so I want to thank him for this work and being very diligent in making sure that we are addressing some of these deferred maintenance issues as part of our yearly planning processes. The next one, which is also related, is the Howdy and Latcham building re-roofing. Was another one that the board reviewed and approved as far as our deferred maintenance projects that we're currently prioritizing. And then we also had some equipment that we're needing to purchase for our instructional units that were also approved by our board after we went through that RFP process and review. So one of them being 2 CNC plasma cutting machines, and then the other being an RFP that was awarded for some new dental hygiene chairs. Once again, a lot of this is being funded through our tax maintenance notes that we have currently that are specifically meant for these types of projects, and specifically the dental hygiene chairs. That is something that we received a grant for from a local philanthropy agency. So we're very happy to have received that award and them supporting our vision and our mission and serving our students as well. The next item is the policy updates that we took to the board this month. We had a total of 46 policies that we took to our board for review and ultimately approval. Those policies were approved. We will disseminate, my office will disseminate a list of those policies to all employees, just so you can have them as a reference point. And I would encourage you to review them to see if there's any manuals that perhaps need to be updated within your respective units or any type of publications that we may need to update. I will share that we were very happy with this work and having completed this work when we went back through the policies that were actually outdated, and with respect to the numbered updates that TASB, our Texas Association of School Boards, publishes year to year. We had not adopted policies dating us back as far as the 41st numbered update. So when you look at that from a time period or time perspective, we had some policies that were 5 years outdated that hadn't been reviewed or institutionalized, and our board hadn't reviewed. So I'm happy to say that we're all caught up, even as the 50th numbered update, which was just published earlier this month. I believe it was December 12th, if I'm not mistaken, or somewhere around that time period. But we did make the extra effort to review all of those policies with our legal counsel, and get them ready to have them reviewed by the board. And those policies were also adopted at last night's board meeting. The policies that I highlighted for the board last night, which I think everyone here should be well aware of, were specifically three policies. One policy was related to artificial intelligence, or AI, and how that can be used as a resource both by staff and students. So I know we have an AI steering committee that is reviewing procedures on what we need to do as an institution to mitigate any risk in the use of AI in our operations. So I want to thank Michael and that work that he's facilitating with those teams. We will have those guidelines for you all here pretty soon. But I think TASB did a really good job of outlining the expectations as far as some of the new state regulations that have been enacted, and giving the institutions or colleges a good framework to start with, and provide guidance to, once again, staff and students on what is allowable and what's not with respect to the use of AI within higher education specifically. So once again, we'll share that with you all, and we'd be more than happy to share the actual policy language documents with you all if that's something that you all would like to review. The other, I would say, major, or not major change, but policy that was taken to the board for review so we could codify our procedures was our promotion, demotion, and transfer policy. And as is very prescriptive in the title of the policy, that policy speaks to the processes and procedures for the college in facilitating any type of promotion, demotion, or lateral transfer of an employee within a respective role. Once again, we will share that policy language with you all so you all can have it for review. But we did want to make sure that as an institution, we have some very objective process in place when we're facilitating those types of employment actions, just so it's something very objective and not subjective when we facilitate that. And once again, to mitigate any type of risk for the college. And also make sure that we provide that clarity and guidance for our employees and how that process takes place. And so we can all be on the same page. The other policy change that I think is substantive in some sense is we modified the basically the number of courses that exempt employees are allowed to teach within a respective semester at the college. As we begin looking at our instructional continuity planning and some of the standards that SAC-COC is evaluating with respect to the quality of our instructional programs and offerings, our cabinet, has been meeting consistently and having some very lengthy discussions on where we see the institution moving forward in the next couple of years. And a lot of those decisions you are already beginning to be made aware of and see with respect to our transition to open education resources, the transition to a quality matters framework institutionally, us transitioning away from facilitating developmental education classes online and hosting those courses face-to-face on campus, because we know that all of those initiatives impact our students positively. It's another extension of, once again, this decision to really limit the number of courses that our exempt employees are allowed to teach. So what that major change is employees that are exempt, right, that are non-faculty, are only allowed to teach one credit-bearing course per semester moving forward. Once again, if you all would like to see that policy and that language, we will be more than happy to share that with you all. It will be something that will be published on our TASB online board book that we have for all of our policies, but we'd be more than happy to share it or it gets published through our TASB partner in a PDF document if needed. So that was another major change with respect to policy updates. But once again, very happy with that work and the fact that we've been able to review and assess and evaluate a total of 46 policies in such a short amount of time, and really catch us up to speed to where we need to be from a compliance standpoint to make sure that our policies are not outdated. Um, those are the major components or updates that we had with respect to new business as part of the board meeting. Would be happy to answer any type of questions that anyone has regarding last night's board meeting.
At this time, Dr. Suarez, I don't have any questions. Oh, Dean Secord's raising his hand. In the top of your toolbar, there should be a Q&A tab. In that Q&A tab, you can post your question and I will publish it and Dr. Suarez will respond to it.
And just until we get some questions possibly, and I do want to share some feedback that we received as part of the last month's town hall survey. Um, just some data points that I think I'd be glad to share with you all. So we had a total of 55 individuals attend the town hall, and out of those individuals, obviously we shared a survey with them, and we had a total of 28 responses. So a lot of the feedback that we got, some of the things that we asked were the effectiveness in providing timely updates. A lot of the feedback that we received is that this was a very effective venue in providing updates to you all in real time right after a board meeting takes place. I think is very indicative of how open and transparent we are trying to be with some of the changes that are taking place from month to month. And then as far as the effectiveness in answering participant questions, I know we did our best to answer most, if not all, of the questions that we received if they were pertinent to the board meeting minutes and the agenda items. I know actually during last month's meeting, we had received some of the questions, but I didn't actually read them out as they were received. So that's something that we're working at as we polished this type of venue to make sure that I'm reading out the questions that we are receiving, so you all are aware that as they come in, we are reading to them and in real time and trying to give you all the concise and correct information with respect to any questions you may have. And then another question was just the likelihood of attending future town halls, and a lot of the responses that we got were that individuals were very likely to attend and really get this information quickly as the changes come through our board meetings. Okay, so I'm not familiar with TASB. We have a question here. I'll read it out. I'm not familiar with TASB. Can you explain their significance and how their policies relate to CBC policies? So great question. TASB is the Texas Association of School Boards. And basically, they have become the model provider of policies within the state of Texas. They facilitate a lot of policies both within the K through 12 setting and institutions of higher education, specifically within the two-year college setting. So basically, a lot of institutions have moved away from creating their own institutional policies and allowing TASB as a provider to outline policies and review the legislation and the changes that are coming, year to year, and provide us with a framework for us to follow that aligns with how we operate as an institution. So the best way that I can explain it is it really allows us to streamline policy improvements and modifications and adjustments as we get directives or legislation that's being provided from the state. So every year, obviously, there is legislative mandates that take place. TASB reviews those mandates and basically applies the changes to the policy framework that they provide institutions of higher education. And then we as the college review those changes and decide what we want to adopt or not adopt as part of our institutional policy framework. So I guess the best way to explain it is TASB owns the framework that they provide to us. And then as an institution, we decide if we want to adopt that framework in its entirety or want to make adjustments to it and then adopt our own version of what TASB has provided with respect to policies. So it is a really good resource for us to really be on the same page with our peers and really make sure that our policies are being tested against a lot of the laws and legislations that are being driven by the state from year to year.
Dr. Suarez, we have a question from Dean Secord.
Okay, is it in the chat or is it in the?
It's published
Let me see.
under the
Okay,
published tab.
okay, here I got them now. When would the limitation on course offerings for full-time employees go into effect? That is effective immediately, so it would impact the spring scheduling. So obviously, if there's an employee that is teaching courses over that limit for this fall semester, we would not want to disrupt student in those courses. But definitely for the spring term, that those modifications need to be made to any type of scheduling to reflect what has been approved by the board in our policy.
Last call for questions. Last call for questions.
Think everyone's ready for the winter break. Okay.
Doctors, I'm not showing any more questions in the queue.
Okay. So, well, it's like I said, I'm really happy to continue these open forums and town halls so we can provide quick information after each of our board meetings. So moving forward, I highly encourage you to just become more, be willing to ask those actual questions. I know it's difficult sometimes. Trying to put myself in the position of our staff and our employees, and I just want to make sure that we're keeping this open dialogue. So as we move forward, I think we'll have some more engagement, and we'll be able to have some constructive feedback on the questions that you all may have on board actions that are taking place. But before ending today's town hall, I just want to thank you all so much for all of your hard work during this semester and even prior to this semester. We all know the hard work that goes into serving our students, and you are a fundamental and important piece of the goals and the mission that we have set for our students moving forward. So I want to make sure that you all realize that we appreciate everything that you do. And some of the discussion that I was having with the trustees yesterday is actually just highlighting the fact that we have a really great team in general, faculty, staff, that are leading a lot of these initiatives. So for me, I get the opportunity to just present the great work that you all put forward day to day to our trustees in a way that is relatable or in a way that they can understand. So it's in some senses it is an easy task, but you all are really the ones that drive our mission and our vision. And I just well enough for everything that you do for our students. So I do wish you all a wonderful winter break. I hope you're all able to get some rest and relaxation over the break and spend time with your loved ones. And I look forward to getting back in the spring and just continuing this work together. So, and I'll be excited to see many of you all at graduation as well on Friday. So I should end with some quick updates. Some of the announcements we do have the fall commencement ceremony that's going to be held Friday, December 19th. Starting at 10 a.m. in the Peter S. Marosek Physical Fitness Center, or the gym. And so basically just wanted to share that with everyone. We're really excited to share that experience with a lot of our students and even some of our work studies here in our offices. Obviously, CBC will be closed for the winter break starting December 20th through January 4th. I also want to highlight that there is going to be some water testing that's going to be conducted here at the Beeville campus beginning this Saturday from December 20th through December 23rd. So we not only do we have a plan in place, and JC's been working very diligently to make sure that we have an emergency management plan. We also want to make sure that we test that plan and make sure that the way that we think the execution of that plan is going to work, it won't cause any issues. So us actually activating it while no one is here during those days, it will be a good way for us to define any gaps that we may have in that plan. So once again, JC, thank you for that work. And then lastly, our next regularly scheduled board meeting will be held on Tuesday, January 20th at 5:30 p.m. in the Sandy Dirks boardroom. So I know we have limited space here in the actual boardroom area, but I always encourage individuals that are wanting to attend to either attend virtually or if there's available seating, everyone's always welcomed. We're being open and transparent with the decisions that we're making from month to month. So I would encourage you all to stay engaged in some way as that work takes place with our board of trustees. So that's what I have for this month.
Okay, we'd like to thank everybody for attending the virtual town hall. The recording will be made available online, and I believe we have found a proper housing spot for these videos. So those will be made available to everybody. We'll send that out through Cougar Mail. Thank you very much for coming. And until next time, bye-bye, be safe, Merry Christmas.